Have you ever felt so alone in your pain that no one notices your tears? That your struggles go unseen, your heart goes unheard, and even your deepest fears remain hidden? What if I told you that these very moments, those private battles, those silent tears, that hidden pain are not meaningless? What if the struggles you hide from the world are actually preparing you for something greater, shaping a heart stronger than you ever imagined? Tonight, we are going to explore the hidden power of your struggles, why not every pain needs an audience, and why the way you endure in silence could transform your life, your heart, and even your destiny. This isn't just another lesson. This is life or death for your soul. And if you stay until the end, you may never look at your private struggles the same way again. Are you ready to truly see what your heart has been carrying? Trust Allah with the unseen. It is completely natural to want someone to notice your struggle, to wish that someone would recognize the weight you carry in your heart. We all long for understanding, for empathy, for someone to simply see us without judgment. But sometimes, the truth is that the world cannot see what Allah sees. He sees every tear you quietly shed, every sigh you try to hide, every thought you keep locked inside. He knows the things you are too afraid, too ashamed, or too proud to speak aloud. There are moments when your pain feels invisible to everyone around you, when it seems like no one understands, and it can feel lonely. But these moments are not meaningless. Sometimes Allah keeps our trials hidden because He wants to teach us to rely on Him fully. When we stop seeking validation from people, we begin to seek comfort and strength from the one who will never fail us, never misjudge us, and never misunderstand the depth of our hearts. The struggles we endure quietly, away from the eyes of others, are shaping us in ways we may not see in the moment. They are building patience we cannot buy, resilience we cannot borrow, and strength that will remain even when everything else is gone. Every hidden hardship, every silent tear, every secret worry has a purpose. It is refining our character, teaching us humility, and deepening our connection with Allah. Sometimes, the reward for your patience and endurance will not come immediately. Sometimes, no one may ever see what you've gone through, and that is okay. Because the most valuable growth does not happen in the spotlight, it happens in the quiet moments where only you and Allah are present. When you trust Him with the things the world cannot see, your heart begins to understand a peace that people cannot give and a strength that cannot be shaken by circumstances or opinions. Your unseen struggle is never wasted. Even when it feels heavy, even when it feels endless, Allah is aware and He is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Learning to trust Him with the unseen is one of the most profound steps toward finding peace in your heart, because it teaches you that your value and your journey are never measured by human recognition, but by His infinite wisdom and mercy. The healing power of silence. There is a unique kind of healing that only comes in silence. When you carry your struggles quietly, when you allow your heart to feel its pain without needing to explain it to anyone else, something remarkable begins to happen. The world often teaches us that we must share our burdens to lighten them, that pain needs witnesses to validate it. But true healing does not come from applause, acknowledgement, or sympathy. It comes from the quiet moments where your heart speaks only to Allah. When you are silent with your struggles, you are giving your soul a chance to breathe. You are allowing yourself to process your emotions fully, without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. In silence, your mind and heart are free to examine, to reflect, to understand what is happening within you. You notice patterns you may have ignored, feelings you may have suppressed, and truths that you may have been too busy to see. In those quiet moments, your soul learns patience because it cannot rush. It learns resilience because it must endure. It learns trust because it is forced to lean on Allah rather than the fleeting reassurance of people. Silence also creates space for clarity. When the noise of opinions, advice, and external pressures fades away, you begin to hear yourself and hear Allah. Your prayers become more intimate, your emotions more transparent, and your connection with your Creator more personal and profound. Healing is not a linear path, and it does not always require words. Sometimes, simply sitting with your pain, acknowledging it and offering it to Allah is enough to begin transforming it into strength. There is a subtle power in learning to endure quietly. It teaches you that your worth is not measured by how much people notice your suffering, but by how faithfully you carry it with patience and trust. It shows you that your strength does not depend on validation from others, but on your reliance on Allah. And the more you allow yourself to experience your struggles in silence, the more you will discover a resilience that cannot be shaken by criticism, misunderstanding, or rejection. The quiet endurance of your pain also allows your heart to grow in ways noise never could. When no one else sees your tears, they become sacred. When no one else knows your struggle, it becomes personal and intimate, a secret dialogue between you and Allah. And as you learn to carry your burdens silently, you may find that the weight slowly becomes lighter. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you have found the strength within yourself and the comfort in Allah's presence. Silence does not mean weakness. It is not a sign of giving up. Silence is a choice to heal deeply, to grow authentically, and to rely entirely on the one who understands every nuance of your heart. The more you embrace the quiet, the more you realize that true strength is not about how loudly you fight your battles, but how faithfully you endure them in the presence of Allah. In the quiet moments of reflection, you begin to understand the hidden beauty in your pain. Every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night has a purpose. And as you walk this path in silence, you discover a power and serenity that cannot be given by anyone else, a peace that quietly transforms your heart and your life, and a connection with Allah that grows deeper, stronger, and more personal with each passing day. Pain transforms into light. Pain, when it is carried quietly and surrendered to Allah, has a remarkable way of transforming. It does not stay heavy forever, nor does it remain just a burden to weigh down your heart. When you endure your struggles with patience, and when you allow yourself to feel the depth of your emotions without running from them, that very pain slowly begins to change. It begins to illuminate your heart and your life in ways you could never have imagined. Every tear you shed in private, every moment you feel broken and weary, every sigh that escapes your lips when no one is watching, these are not wasted. Each of them carries the seeds of growth, wisdom, and resilience. Pain has the power to reveal truths about yourself that joy never could. It teaches you what matters most, what is fleeting, and what is eternal. It shows you where your heart needs healing, where your soul needs attention, and where your faith can grow stronger. When you allow your struggles to remain close to your heart and only share them with Allah, they begin to purify you from the inside out. The heaviness turns into clarity, the hurt turns into understanding, and the weakness transforms into strength. You begin to notice how your heart, once fragile and wounded, starts to beat with quiet courage. Your character is refined, your patience grows, your empathy for others deepens because you have walked through darkness yourself and can recognize it in others. There is also a light in realizing that pain has a purpose. Every trial you endure quietly teaches you something that comfort cannot. It teaches you gratitude for the smallest blessings, humility in your interactions, and reliance on Allah when nothing else feels steady. The more you lean on Him, the more you notice that your pain, when surrendered to Allah, does not destroy you, it strengthens you. It becomes a source of illumination in your life, showing you paths you might never have noticed, opening doors to growth that you might not have sought, and shaping your soul into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. Pain transforms into light when you stop fighting it with frustration and start walking with it with patience. When you stop asking why this has happened to you and start asking what this can teach you, you begin to see your struggles differently. They are no longer just obstacles, they become teachers. Every tear becomes a mirror reflecting your strength. Every sleepless night becomes a testimony of your resilience. Every private battle becomes a hidden victory that prepares you for a future that is brighter, clearer, and more peaceful than you can imagine. You may not see the results immediately. You may still feel heavy and burdened at times. But the quiet endurance, the secret prayers, the private moments of struggle, they are all quietly transforming your pain into light. The light that grows in you will eventually shine outward, not for applause or recognition, but because you have become someone who carries life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and faith. Your pain, when given to Allah and carried with patience, becomes a lantern. It lights the corners of your soul, guides your decisions, and strengthens your spirit. And over time, you begin to realize that what once felt like unbearable darkness was quietly shaping a heart that could now see and radiate light, even in the midst of life's challenges. Private struggles protect your heart. There is a special kind of strength that comes from keeping some of your struggles private. Not every hardship is meant to be shared. Not every tear is meant to be seen, and not every burden is meant to be discussed. When you carry certain pains quietly, you are protecting your heart in ways that few can understand. Sharing every detail of your struggles can sometimes expose you to misunderstanding, judgment, or even insensitivity. People may hear your pain, but they cannot fully feel it. They may offer advice, opinions, or comments, but they cannot carry it for you. When your struggles remain private, you are free to process them without distraction. You are able to feel every emotion deeply, without fear of being judged, dismissed, or criticized. This quiet endurance allows your heart to grow stronger. You begin to learn patience, not because someone is watching or encouraging you, but because you have no other choice. You develop resilience not because the world expects it, but because your soul is learning to survive and thrive quietly. Privacy in your struggles also gives you the freedom to heal at your own pace. When everything is public, there is pressure. Pressure to show progress. Pressure to appear strong. Pressure to meet the expectations of others. But when your heart carries its burdens quietly, it is allowed the space to breathe, to process, and to transform in its own time. The lessons you learn, the insights you gain, and the growth you experience happen naturally, deeply, and authentically. Keeping some struggles private does not mean hiding from help or isolating yourself completely. It means choosing wisely who sees your pain, who hears your story, and who you allow into the sacred spaces of your heart. Your most personal battles should be entrusted to those who will protect your heart, support you without judgment, and guide you toward patience and wisdom. This is how your heart remains safe, and how your soul is nurtured in the midst of life's challenges. When you learn to protect your heart by holding some pain in private, you begin to notice a subtle change. You are less influenced by the opinions of others. You are less shaken by criticism or misunderstanding. You are less tempted to seek approval or sympathy for your struggles. Instead, you learn to rely on Allah alone. You learn that your value, your growth, and your healing are not dependent on who notices or validates your struggles. They are dependent on your faith, your patience, and your quiet trust in Him. Private struggles teach humility too. When no one is watching, you face your weakness honestly. You confront your fears, insecurities, and failures without pretense. You learn to admit to yourself what needs to be healed, what needs to be forgiven, and what needs to be released. This honesty is transformative. It protects your heart from pride, resentment, and bitterness. It allows you to face life's challenges with a grounded, patient, and wise perspective. By keeping certain pains private, you are not only protecting your heart, you are also preserving the sacredness of your journey. Some lessons are too delicate to be broadcast. Some wounds are too personal to be displayed. And some victories are sweeter when they grow quietly, nurtured in the presence of Allah alone. Your private struggles are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you could have become if every trial were shared with the world. In time, you will look back and realize that the moments you carried in silence were the moments that most profoundly transformed you. The private battles, the unseen tears, the quiet endurance, they all served a purpose. They protected your heart, refined your character, and prepared your soul for a life that is more peaceful, more resilient, and more connected to Allah. The importance of inner reflection. There is a quiet power in turning inward, in taking the time to truly reflect on your heart and your life. The world often teaches us to keep moving, to distract ourselves, to focus on what is external. But some of the most profound growth and understanding comes from looking within. Inner reflection allows your soul to pause, to feel, and to make sense of your experiences. It is in these moments, when no one else is around, that your heart speaks most honestly and you begin to understand the whispers of your own soul. When you reflect inwardly, you give yourself permission to acknowledge your emotions fully. You can feel your sadness without shame, your fear without judgment, and your longing without guilt. Many of us are so busy trying to appear strong or to meet the expectations of others that we never allow ourselves to feel completely. Inner reflection teaches you that it is okay to be human, to struggle, to question, and to wrestle with your thoughts. It is in embracing these moments that your soul begins to grow and your heart begins to understand itself more deeply. Reflection also brings clarity. When life is noisy, when everyone has opinions, advice, and judgments, it is difficult to hear your own heart. But in stillness, you can listen. You can see patterns that were invisible before. You can understand why certain struggles continue to affect you, why certain decisions weigh so heavily, and why certain emotions return again and again. This awareness is not always easy. It may reveal uncomfortable truths, but it is necessary for growth. When you face yourself honestly, you begin to make sense of your past, and you are better equipped to navigate your present and your future. Through reflection, you also connect more deeply with Allah. Your private moments of contemplation become moments of conversation with Him, moments of seeking guidance and understanding. When you reflect on your thoughts, actions, and experiences, you naturally turn to the one who created your heart, seeking comfort, direction, and wisdom. The process of looking inward is intertwined with turning outward in faith, and it strengthens both your self-awareness and your spiritual connection. Inner reflection allows your pain to teach you, rather than consume you. Every struggle you face carries a lesson, but it is often hidden until you pause and examine your heart. The quiet contemplation of your experiences helps you see how far you have come, what you have learned, and how your heart is being shaped. It transforms suffering into insight, confusion into understanding, and weakness into growth. This process also cultivates patience and humility. When you reflect inwardly, you see your imperfections and your limitations. You learn to forgive yourself for mistakes and to release guilt and shame. You realize that growth takes time and that healing is a process. You understand that everyone has struggles and that your own journey is unique. Reflection teaches you to be gentle with yourself, to trust the process, and to rely on Allah's timing rather than your own. Ultimately, inner reflection is a form of care for your soul. It protects you from being swept away by external pressures, judgments, or distractions. It allows your heart to remain anchored, even in the midst of chaos. The more you practice it, the more you learn to understand your desires, your fears, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You begin to see life not just as a series of events, but as a meaningful journey where every challenge carries a lesson, every setback carries growth, and every quiet moment of reflection carries the possibility of profound transformation. When you make space for inner reflection, you are choosing to honor yourself in your journey. You are choosing to listen to your heart, to understand your soul, and to grow in a way that is authentic and lasting. The lessons you learn in silence, away from the eyes and opinions of others, are the ones that will stay with you forever. They shape your character, deepen your faith, and prepare your heart for a life of wisdom, patience, and true inner peace. Discerning when to share. There is a delicate balance between holding your pain and knowing when to share it. Not every struggle is meant to be spoken aloud, yet not every burden is meant to be carried alone. The challenge lies in understanding when your heart will benefit from sharing and when silence will serve you better. This discernment is a form of wisdom, a quiet, subtle knowledge that comes with experience and reflection. Sharing your struggles can be comforting when it is done with the right people, at the right time, and with the right intentions. There are moments when opening your heart can lighten your load, provide guidance, or offer perspective. But there is also a risk. Sharing with the wrong person can leave you feeling exposed, misunderstood, or even more burdened. Some people may respond with judgment, indifference, or criticism, which can deepen the pain rather than relieve it. Learning to discern when to share requires honesty with yourself. Ask yourself, will this person truly understand and support me, or will they judge me? Will this conversation bring me closer to peace, or will it distract me from my growth? Not every ear is meant to hear your story, and not every heart is prepared to carry the weight of your struggle. Choosing wisely is an act of self-care, a way to protect your heart and your soul while still seeking connection and support when it is needed. It also requires courage. It is easier to speak to anyone who will listen, but true discernment means waiting for the right moment, trusting Allah to guide you, and not rushing to reveal what is sacred in your heart. It means resisting the urge to seek validation from others, and instead prioritizing healing, growth, and genuine guidance. When you share thoughtfully with someone who prays for you, encourages patience, and guides you closer to what is right, your pain can become a bridge to strength rather than a stage for judgment. Discerning when to share also teaches you boundaries. Your struggles are valuable, and your heart is precious. Not everyone needs to witness your pain, and not everyone should have access to the most vulnerable parts of your soul. By keeping certain battles private, you maintain control over your emotional and spiritual well-being. You protect your heart from the misunderstandings, distractions, and pressures that often come from oversharing. This is not isolation, it is wisdom, self-respect, and intentionality. At the same time, discernment is not about avoiding vulnerability altogether. It is about recognizing the difference between seeking support and seeking validation, between sharing for healing and sharing for attention. The right moments of vulnerability can deepen relationships, bring comfort, and foster connection, but unwise sharing can do the opposite. Learning to wait, observe, and reflect before opening your heart ensures that your words and emotions are shared with those who truly care and will honor your trust. Ultimately, discerning when to share strengthens your faith and your inner resilience. It reminds you that while human support can be helpful, it is not the ultimate source of comfort. Allah is always present, always listening, and always understanding. When you choose wisely whom to share your pain with, you are learning to rely less on human approval and more on His guidance. You are protecting your heart, cultivating patience, and preparing yourself for a life in which your strength and wisdom are not dependent on others' recognition, but rooted firmly in your relationship with Allah. In the end, the lessons of discernment are subtle but profound. They teach you that your heart is sacred, your journey is personal, and your struggles, whether shared or kept private, are shaping you in ways that will serve you for a lifetime. By learning to distinguish between when to speak and when to remain silent, you are learning to walk through life with clarity, dignity, and quiet strength, allowing your heart to grow, heal, and thrive in a world that often misunderstands both pain and patience. Seeking solace, not sympathy. There is a profound difference between seeking sympathy from the world and seeking true solace from Allah. Sympathy is temporary, fleeting, and often conditional. It comes from people who may not fully understand your struggle, who may offer advice, judgment, or fleeting comfort that cannot truly reach the depth of your heart. Solace, on the other hand, is lasting. It is a peace that comes from turning inward, from surrendering your pain to the one who sees every tear, hears every sigh, and understands the full weight of your heart. It is natural to long for someone to acknowledge your pain, to feel seen and understood. We all crave connection and empathy, but relying on human understanding alone can be dangerous. People may offer comfort, but it is imperfect. They may say the right words but fail to grasp the depth of your emotions. They may want to help, yet their help may unintentionally distract you from the true healing that only comes through turning to Allah. Seeking solace does not mean ignoring human support. It does not mean isolating yourself from those who care. but it does mean recognizing that the ultimate source of peace is within, not outside. It means learning to quiet your heart, to speak to Allah honestly and openly, and to release your burdens to Him. In those private moments of prayer, reflection, and surrender, you find a peace that is untouchable by the opinions, judgments, or misunderstandings of others. Your soul begins to rest, and the heaviness that once consumed you begins to lift, not because anyone else sees it, but because Allah is holding it for you. Solace teaches patience. When you seek comfort from Allah rather than people, you learn to wait without frustration. You learn that your heart can heal even without immediate recognition, and that your pain can be transformed even in quiet solitude. You learn that suffering does not need applause, that endurance does not need witnesses, and that your healing journey is deeply personal. The world may never see the depth of your struggle, and that is perfectly okay. What matters is that you are seen by the one who matters most. Seeking solace also teaches humility. It reminds you that your journey is not for validation. Your growth, your resilience, and your healing are not measured by how others respond to your pain, but by how faithfully you endure it and how closely you turn to Allah. Solace allows you to honor your struggles without performing them for an audience. It allows you to experience your emotions fully, to process them honestly, and to learn from them deeply. When you learn to seek solace instead of sympathy, you also gain strength. You become less dependent on external validation, less swayed by fleeting opinions, and less shaken by the judgments of others. Your heart begins to anchor itself in something that is permanent, reliable, and deeply comforting. The quiet trust and peace that grows from turning inward, from seeking Allah's presence in your struggles, transforms your pain into resilience, your tears into wisdom, and your heartbreak into a source of patience and understanding. Ultimately, seeking solace rather than sympathy teaches you that your healing is sacred. It is not something to be displayed, measured, or compared. It is a personal journey, nurtured in the quiet, protected from misunderstanding, and strengthened by faith. Your pain is valid even if no one else sees it. Your tears are meaningful even if no one else hears them. And your heart can find peace even in solitude, because solace is not about the presence of others, it is about the presence of Allah, who knows every part of you, loves you through every trial, and never abandons you. When you fully embrace this truth, you begin to see your struggles differently. You are no longer seeking applause, validation, or sympathy. You are seeking the deep, unshakable comfort that can only come from the one who knows, the one who cares, and the one who can turn every difficulty into growth, every trial into strength, and every tear into a source of quiet light. Freedom in private struggles. There is a unique kind of freedom that comes from carrying your struggles privately, away from the eyes and opinions of the world. When you stop feeling the need to explain yourself, to justify your pain, or to seek validation, your heart begins to breathe. The world often measures strength by visibility, how loudly you fight your battles, how publicly you display your hardships. But true strength, the kind that lasts and shapes your soul, often grows quietly, in solitude, in private endurance. When you carry some of your struggles in silence, you are giving yourself permission to heal on your own terms. You are allowing your heart to process pain without pressure or expectation. No one can rush your healing. No one can misunderstand it or diminish it. Your growth becomes personal, intimate, and unshakable. Freedom comes when you realize that your journey does not need an audience. Your pain, your tears, your endurance, they belong first and foremost to you and to Allah. This kind of freedom also protects your spirit. When your struggles are public, they can become a source of comparison, judgment, or distraction. People may respond in ways that are helpful, but they may also respond in ways that amplify your pain or redirect your focus away from your true healing. By keeping your struggles private, you are safeguarding your heart. You are choosing your own pace, your own path, and your own depth of understanding. You are honoring the sacredness of your experience And in doing so, you allow your soul to emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. There is also a liberation in learning to rely fully on Allah. When no one else is watching, when no one else is applauding, and when no one else is noticing your pain, you are forced to turn inward and upward. You seek comfort where it truly exists. You pray with sincerity, pour out your heart with honesty, and trust that your struggles are known, held, and understood by the one who never fails. This reliance brings a freedom that cannot be taken away, a peace that does not depend on circumstance, and a strength that cannot be shaken by criticism or misunderstanding. Private struggles teach you to value yourself beyond recognition. You begin to understand that your worth is not defined by how much others see your pain or admire your endurance. Your value is inherent, rooted in your existence, and recognized by Allah alone. This realization frees you from the need to perform suffering for validation. It allows your growth to be authentic, your healing to be sincere, and your faith to be deeply personal. Freedom also comes in the form of inner clarity. In the quiet of private struggles, you notice patterns, uncover truths, and reflect on lessons that might have been lost in the noise of outside opinions. You become more aware of your heart, your boundaries, and your needs. You begin to understand yourself better, to respect your emotions, and to honor the pace of your own growth. The struggles you endure privately transform from burdens into teachers, guiding you gently toward a stronger, more resilient, and more centered version of yourself. Ultimately, the freedom found in private struggles is a freedom of the soul. It is freedom from judgment, freedom from comparison, freedom from seeking approval, and freedom from the pressure to perform. It is freedom to be fully human, fully vulnerable, and fully honest with yourself and with Allah. When you embrace this freedom, your heart becomes lighter, your spirit stronger, and your life more peaceful. You discover that the most profound growth often occurs quietly, unseen, and unrecognized by the world, yet fully witnessed, held, and honored by Allah. In this sacred space of private struggle, you find your true power. You discover that enduring pain with patience, processing it in silence, and surrendering it to Allah is not a sign of weakness, it is a source of unshakable strength. Your tears, your endurance, and your quiet battles become a private legacy of resilience. They prepare your heart for life's challenges, deepen your faith, and allow you to live with courage, authenticity, and a peace that is entirely your own. When you embrace the freedom of private struggles, you begin to see life differently. You no longer need to explain, justify, or display your hardships. You carry them with dignity, patience, and trust. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your heart begins to feel lighter, your spirit stronger, and your soul freer than it has ever been. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to let it all sink in. The struggles you hide, the tears you cry in silence, the battles no one sees, they are not wasted. Every private struggle, every quiet endurance, every moment you've carried alone has been shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and closer to your Creator than you ever realized. Remember this, not every pain needs an audience, but every pain has a purpose. Your value is not measured by who notices your struggles or who applauds your endurance. Your strength, your growth, and your peace are cultivated in the quiet moments where only you and Allah are present. Carry this with you. Your heart is sacred. Your journey is personal. And your struggles are shaping you for something far greater than you can see right now. Trust the process. Trust Allah. Your tears, your patience, your quiet battles, they are your hidden victories. And as you step back into your life, may you do so with a heart that is stronger, a soul that is freer, and a spirit that is unshakable. May you find peace in the quiet, courage in the unseen, and strength in the private struggles that no one else can understand. Because in the end, your life is not defined by the world's recognition, but by the depth of your heart, the sincerity of your endurance, and the closeness you cultivate with Allah. Keep your struggles sacred, keep your heart strong, and let your quiet victories light the way forward. Asterisk.